Hello, this is Arash Vasugi with Voss Coaching Co. Today, I'm going to share a dynamic lesson that really transformed my life. I have clients that I work closely in my elite mentorship programs, and they always ask me, "You're always talking about attitude, but I don't really understand it. How can I change my attitude?" They say, "I've heard your mentor speak on attitude. I've heard you tell what a huge story about how it changed your life." So if this is the first time ever listening to me, I'm going to share the story with you. At this moment, I had changed my results significantly, but I was still always letting the results control my thinking and my attitude. And I went to my mentor and I said, I'm really stuck right now. And he said, "Well, it's your attitude." And I said, "Well, what can I do?" He says, "First, you got to understand it." He said, "My mentor taught me this that I'm going to teach you right now. And if you get it like I got it, it's going to make such a difference for you." And I said, "Sure, what is it?" He said, "Arash, anybody can have a great attitude when things are going well." He said, "The true professionals in life have an even better attitude when things are not going as well." And right when he said it, it was like this huge aha for me. It was like the veil had been uncovered. And I thought to myself, I've got to figure this out. And I took a 2-year dive. I literally took a 2-year dive observing me. And what I realized during that 2 years, it wasn't just attitude. I had to change the attitude of myself. And why was I letting the outside control me? That was the first question I asked myself. And I was letting the outside control me because I was very undisciplined in my thinking. See, thinking, when you're letting the outside control you, that's not thinking, that's reacting. Thinking is when you choose what you think, no matter the circumstances. And I thought to myself, I have got to develop that discipline to shift my attitude. That was the first thing that I thought of. And I started reading book after book on attitude. I mean, these books, anything I could devour, I would pepper my mentor with questions on attitude. And here's what I realized. I realized that I had the wrong definition of attitude. I used to think that if I was optimistic, I was operating with the right attitude and a positive mental attitude, and that couldn't be further from the truth. See, you could be the most optimistic person, but you're operating with scarcity. You're letting the outside control you. Well, you're operating with a negative mental attitude. That was what I was doing. I have always been optimistic, but it doesn't mean I was operating with the right attitude. Now, then I took it deeper and I said, okay, well, that means attitude is in everything. So I had an attitude towards myself. We already discussed that. Well, I had an attitude towards money. And I just looked at how much money I was earning and what my relationship when I was spending money. That was an attitude. And then I looked at what are my relationships like? Am I prejudging people that I'm working with? That's an attitude. Am I looking at the attitude of my children? That's an attitude. Everything we do has an attitude. Then I really discovered that anytime you put a limit on yourself, that is an attitude. See, we have unwavering potential inside of us. There is so much potential that literally you can have anything you want. And now, I know some of you are sitting there and say, well, not anything. Well, you can have anything you want because you wouldn't have a desire, you wouldn't have a want if it wasn't meant for you to be fulfilled. And that is taking the lid off your mind, and now you're operating with a limitless attitude. So what is attitude? Attitude is our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. So we want to harmonize our thoughts, feelings, and actions so we create the life we want. And that's what attitude is. Now, if you have watched any of my previous videos, you will know that we have to master our thinking. That's through discipline. Man cannot master anything until he masters his thinking. Well, that's how you build your attitude. Now, I have a question for you. Are you letting your old story control you? Are you letting the outside control you? Just understand you're not going to go any further than you are until you start using your thinking. You have to really think. And what that means is you think what you want regardless of appearances. You hold what you want with focus. Focus is putting power into what you want. That's what focus is. And that's an attitude. Now, you have to be strong to win. I will tell you this. If you want to win significantly, it's not going to be until you develop that mental toughness. What is mental toughness? It's an attitude. So I could go down the list. Literally everything in your life, in my life, comes down to one word, and that's attitude. Now, what can you do to change your attitude? First thing you have to do is you have to discipline yourself. Second thing is do what I did. I listen to The Magic Word by Earl Nightingale. The magic word is attitude. I listened to it every single day for over 2 years. And you may think, why did you listen to it every day? Because it's the repetition is what changes the program. Now, we have to understand the mind. We have a conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind, and we have a body. And we have a paradigm. The paradigm is the old story, the old conditioning. And that paradigm is your belief system. It's a multitude of habits stored in a section of your subconscious mind. And it is the primary cause of our results. Now, we want to understand this if we're going to change our attitude. So what happens is the paradigm communicates to your 5 senses and says, see, look, nothing has changed. You've been doing this personal development and nothing has changed. You've been going after big things and it's one failure after the next. See, you cannot give any attention to that. Your paradigm is going to your senses, and your senses are super sensitive, and they're picking up anything in your environment. But when you're not thinking, you're going to operate with the old story, the old conditioning. And that's what continues this process of developing the same attitude. See, what we have to do is we see the results. They're not what we want. We say, no, I do not accept that. I have made an irrevocable, committed decision that I am creating the most amazing attitude, and I am continually only focusing on what I want. Now, what I just gave you right there is the biggest cheat code to success. Focus on what you want. Now, how does that impact attitude? I want you for the next 30 days to do a challenge. 30 days. Anybody can do anything for 30 days. For 30 days, I want you to look for the good in everything. You get cut off on the freeway, just say, oh, I'm so grateful for that. Like, look for the good in literally every situation. And as you do this, you're going to change it. If you have a relationship that you're not happy with, look for the good in that person. Look for the good in yourself. Give yourself grace. And as we start doing this, you're going to master attitude. I will tell you right now, the one thing that kills everyone's dreams is attitude. If you are reacting like I did, then you're not going to allow the good to come to you. Good thoughts, good attitude. Good feelings, good attitude. Now, great thoughts, great attitude. And remember, attitude is the magic word, like Earl Nightingale said. And like my mentor said, anybody can have a great attitude when things are going well. Now, let's go deeper into the outside results. When we are letting the outside control us, we're too physical. And that's just because that's the old program that we've been raised. I'll believe it when I see it. It's the opposite. You will see it when you believe it. And you're believing in something all the time. Don't you think it's a great time to believe in what you want? And really understand there are big things coming your way. Everything that has prepared you to this moment was necessary to the fulfillment of you taking this next jump. But if you want to change your life and really create a massive quantum leap in 2023 and beyond, it starts with attitude. Now, how is your attitude? I would love to hear from you and really tell me, why are you letting the outside control you? I know why I was doing it, because I was not thinking. I was not aware. And for anything, we have to be aware of what we're doing. We have to get to know ourselves. If you want to create freedom in your life, get to know who you are. As you get to know who you are, you're building your attitude. And all you have to do is discipline yourself. Make a commitment that I'm going to develop the most positive mental attitude, because I will tell you, as you make that decision, it will change your life. Make an attitude adjustment. Even when you're noticing you're stopping and you're operating from a negative mental attitude, shift it right away. Well, how do you shift it? Focus on something that you're grateful for. Look for the good in yourself, in every circumstance, every situation. And just know, if it's a little bad, there's going to be a little good on the other end. If it's really bad, that means it's going to be really good on the other end. So just stay there. And remember, adversity is temporary. It is very temporary. But nothing happens until you make a decision that you value yourself, you change the attitude of you, and you let go of the old story. Thank you so much.